All right, welcome back to Gym Eat Repeat, the podcast. Today we're going to have on Kent Bierly, owner of Pure Focus Sports Clubs, the ANBF, Natural Bodybuilding. He's an athlete himself, and this is going to be part one of two. We have already recorded the podcast, but I wanted to come back and let everyone know that we went much longer than anticipated because of the topics that you're about to hear. We hope you enjoy the show. All right, welcome back to another episode of Gym Eat Repeat, the podcast. Today we're going to have on Kent Bierly, owner of Pure Focus Sports Club, the president and owner of the ANBF, and he's also, professional bodybuilder since the dawn of time. So Kent's been on before. We've established that his age is not stopping him from doing anything. But we're going to check in with Kent and see what's happening. How's it going, man?
Good. How about you, Mark? I'm excited to be on. It's been a while. We haven't really been on screen in a long time.
No, maybe about a year.
You're too busy. You're a hobnobber now.
No, you're the one who's busy doing all the competing in every organization, just gathering pro cards along the way.
Oh, you're like Taylor Swift. We're gonna see if Marc shows up.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's hard to get a guy of my caliber to be available.
I know. You got a real job. It's unbelievable. Can't believe it.
Yeah. That's new within the past year is working for a living and running a gym and Mr. America and training clients and doing all that stuff. So it's been keeping me busy as hell.
Well, I can imagine.
Yeah, man. It's life takes weird turns and you just kind of go with it. Not everything is a perfect plan.
Well, it's really, Jenna said, Marc, get your ass out and get a job or else.
In not so many words, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, well, I told you what happened. I had somebody approach me about buying the gym, and then they went MIA because I think him and his fiance broke up, and he said, fuck it, I'm not buying her a gym. And in the meantime, Jenna said, I better find something to do during the day. And because I don't back down or quit anything, I'm now working all of the full-time jobs that you could possibly think of.
Well, it's good to see that you're keeping yourself busy, Marc.
Well, when I'm busy, I'm out of trouble. And I actually think it's been helping me focus more on the end goal, right? You do all these little things that you weren't used to, and it really brightens up that goal at the end of the day. I mean, you own a gym. We get stuck in a rut, just going through life. Wake up, go to the gym, turn the lights on, train people, work out. So it's a welcomed change of pace.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's good to get out and get to talk to the other type of people. You're not always dealing with gym people. You're dealing with people that actually have other real jobs.
Yeah. I don't really talk about what I'm doing, but yeah, I'm on a level where I'm definitely talking to real people outside of the gym. So it's definitely it makes for an interesting day, and it gives you a different perspective on what's going on in the world. But I'm doing my part, and just so everybody knows, I'm doing my part to keep the country safe. Well, so that's as much as I'll go into that.
Thank you for doing that for us, Marc.
Yeah. So, Ken, we were on the phone the other day, and we talk about all types of stuff. We're both Giants fans, but they're done, so we didn't talk about that. But what we did talk about was bodybuilding. So I've noticed a few things happening in bodybuilding and online with people I've never heard of before. And I don't know if they're shit stirrers or plants or trolls or whatever you call that online bullshit persona. But the topic came up about TRT in natural bodybuilding. So I'm not sure if everyone understands the way TRT works or, therapeutic use exemptions. And I think it's a good time to explain the way that actually works. It's not that, an organization allows, guys to use testosterone whatever the drug of choice is. Um, but I know, according to WADA guidelines, if somebody has a therapeutic use exemption, we accept the application. The application goes up for review, and it's either approved or denied. So I know the ANBF does allow TRT, correct?
Correct.
All right. So out of 20 shows a year and hundreds upon hundreds of people, how many applications do you think you see per year? Is it exorbitant? Is everybody
I would say
juicing?
I would say last year 6.
6 out of the entire year. Now, those 6 people, um, they may or may not be listening, but we're not going to call them out who they are, or because again, that's a medical thing. I don't think that needs to be shared. But how would you rank them amongst the guys and gals that have competed on your stage? Did they happen to be the best ones up there?
No. They they looked like less caliber than the average competitor.
Right.
We've
Okay.
had
So,
we've had one guy who basically hid behind his HIT or HRT,
mhm,
used that thinking that he wouldn't be tested, or that would be his excuse to basically take a full-fledged steroid cycle. And obviously
right.
we caught him, and this was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and yeah, we caught him, and he failed. He says, "Well, I have an exemption." Yeah, well, you have an exemption for this, but you don't have an exemption for all these other things you were taking.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's going to approve an exemption for fucking Anadrol and
Yeah.
Trenbolone.
Well,
I don't see
one
the
of the
therapeutic use for that.
one of the drugs he was using was Anavar. I mean, it's like that. What? I mean, so
Yeah.
he basically used it as a way of, maybe he didn't think he was going to be drug tested, but
Right.
when you looked at him and you knew that something was up too. He wasn't overly big, just very
Right.
lean, abnormally lean and grainy muscularity. So a typical Anavar look,
Right.
obviously.
Right. Right.
So when it came back that he was on Anavar, nobody was surprised.
Right. So
But yeah,
and
everybody.
I mean, he tried to fight it and just say, "Hey, I had a therapeutic use exemption." Did you explain to him like Anavar's not covered on that?
He
That
had
you're putting
said
in for one specific medication?
he actually had said, "I didn't know that you were going to be testing for all those substances."
Because you do also use the WADA banned substance list,
Yeah,
correct?
but to be honest, this was before we switched to the better. This was the freaking Quest LabCorp $90 drug test. He failed
Right.
that. He didn't fail
Oh,
though. He didn't fail like the full blown, the one that we send out, the WADA one. It was
right.
generic one. It was the basic one that everybody's, well, people still use it. I won't mention it, but
Right. Yeah, I don't know why either. I feel like that's one of those things. I don't want to go off topic and get too
yeah.
much into testing standards and procedures and
But he did, yeah.
methodologies, but
He didn't even fight it. He was like, "Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't really think that you were gonna really test me for these substances." I'm like, "These are like generic steroids 101. Like, here's the first 5 items you take when you were taking a steroid cycle." Like, he was on it.
right, right, right.
So yeah, that. But everybody else, I have to be honest, everybody else was not above average. They might have been average. Maybe one or two guys were like, you know, average, but then the other ones would look like guys that have struggled their whole life, and and needed a little extra help to
Right,
be normal. You know what I mean?
right. Well, I mean, and there's a lot of reasons that people are on TRT also.
Yeah.
So let's just jump, like hypogonadism, right? So their bodies aren't, producing what it should produce.
Right.
So you're not living your life, sexually the way you want to be. You
Right.
don't have, just a normal amount of manhood.
Right.
So guys take this, right? But in their quest to feel better about themselves, yes, they're working out, they're eating better, they're doing all of the right things to hopefully naturally increase their testosterone without the benefit of the result that they're hoping for. So yes, they end up on testosterone to help that. Now I'm not going to fault a guy for that, because I think your life outside of bodybuilding consumes way more of you than your life inside of bodybuilding,
Right.
right? But why should, we're just going to say a 50-year-old guy or a 55-year-old man who just isn't the same anymore, why should he not be allowed to live a little bit more normal?
Right. Well, it's very discriminatory in my eyes when you there's other side of the coin though too. I mean, you have people that are diabetic and you're going to tell them that they can't compete because they're on insulin. Well, I mean, either that or you
They
die.
need that to stay alive.
Yeah, either that or you die. Or if you're a person that has, like, people have thyroid cancer, they have no thyroid. They need to take thyroid medicine. You can't
Right.
compete. I mean, these people are just asking to be normal
Right.
and they'll struggle the rest of their life. So you can't just pick and choose what you're going to say. Oh, you can't do this. Well, you can have, if you don't have the right amount of testosterone in your system, you're going to have heart attacks. I
Right.
mean, it's
Right.
just
You actually a premature death is one of the things when your testosterone is too low, and you're at risk for many other diseases from having too low of testosterone.
right. And you know what people do too is they will compare you to, well, it's just like an NPC show if you let these guys get on stage. No,
It's
the guys that do TRT and in the NPC shows aren't following. I would say 75% of them aren't following a doctor's care. They're not. They're just buying it like they do all their other stuff, and then they're just using what they want to use for the benefit of competing.
right.
They're not doing it for the benefit of being healthy and
Well,
having.
you'll see IFBB pros that a lot of guys and girls talk about their cycles, and they'll talk about contest prep cycle versus an off season cycle, and a lot of them say, well, I don't completely come off in my off season. I'm just doing TRT.
Right.
Well, no, you're still on, number one, but what you're doing is not TRT. You're cruising for 4 months at a
Right.
lower dosage of testosterone.
Yeah.
But clearly it's not the same.
No. So
Yeah,
that's like the biggest argument you'll get from people when they say, how can you allow HRT? It's just like an NPC show. Well, take the lineups and compare them. Line up in a natural show that may, even if all of them are on TRT or an NPC lineup, there's not even a comparison between the two. I mean,
no,
it's like night and day, the difference in the two. The guys are doing it to be healthy. These guys are doing it for an advantage. There's
right.
clearly a difference.
We've had people, especially with the Mr. America, we've had people contact us that, hey, can I get a therapeutic use exemption? And we've reviewed, I couldn't even tell you how many applications, but 99.999% of them, they've been denied, because other than reviewing their application, there's other things that we do look into. And it turns out that most of them were full of shit.
Yeah.
But that's why I ask, because there has been in the past 5 or so years, 2 that had legitimate reasons that I won't get into. But guess what? Like you said, they were average, maybe,
Yeah.
if not below average. So, is it that big of a deal? I don't know. Sure, we all want a level, clean playing field, but if it happens to you and you need it, and you're on 100 milligrams of testosterone a week, I'm pretty sure you're not going to be winning the fucking Olympia.
Well, here's the thing too, Mark. There's no such thing as a level playing field when you could have 700. Your number could be 700. Mine could be 200. Where's
Right,
the level? Because you're lucky enough to have a higher testosterone rate than me. So there is
right,
no level playing field. I mean,
right,
that's you start from the start. I mean, I don't even know what my testosterone level is, and I don't even care. As long as I can get on stage and I can beat 20-year-olds, I don't give a shit what my testosterone level is. But people accuse me of it because, well, that's why you have it in the ANBF. I'm like, huh, I don't know.
Well, I could attest. I could attest that Kent does not use anything because we've tested him.
That's right.
So, you were tested this year. How long did it take you to piss this year?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you were dry as hell on stage.
I really have a problem, and I think it has something to do with also because I do niacin before I go on stage, so I think it constricts everything.
Right.
What show was it that? Oh, when I got my pro card at the OCB, 2 hours took me to pee. 2
Oh
hours.
wow.
2 freaking hours. I was talking to Yvonne Harper for 2 hours. We were in the bowels of the venue. We were like 2 floors down. Like, we're like, what if everybody left and we're still here? So then when I got my pro card WNBF, the same thing. I was sitting there with Ian Mercer's wife.
Right.
She says, honey, just as long as we're out of here before they lock the doors. I don't care how long it takes you. I was we were the last 2 left.
Right.
So that was like another 2 hours. But then Sully's show, when I won that show up there, yeah, it wasn't too bad because that was probably like only like 45 minutes because I took my niacin earlier. I think it has something to
Right.
do with my niacin that really affects it. But yeah, the drier you are, the harder it is to pee for sure.
Right.
But yeah, it does take me a while to pee.
So and all your tests are clean.
All clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get all of your test results back? You don't have to say who didn't send them.
Okay, I will say I received 2 out of the 3, but I was assured that the one that I did not get yet is still coming.
Okay.
Because it was taking, as we know, these people always want to know where their payouts are because those tests.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not quick.
Yeah, it could take up to 8-9 weeks sometimes
Yeah.
if depending on what, like if you have a medicine in there that's on the ban list, then they retest it to see what the amount is so that they're not going to send you results until it's 100% confirmed. So
Right.
it was, everybody was told, we all got paid, but tests are still coming.
Right.
So,
all right. So
because we were given, we were told if you passed or failed, and then
right.
because they wanted to speed up the payouts, they didn't want to wait because it was a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's part of it though. The problem is, if you don't get your test results back
Yeah,
and you pay
you can't
somebody
pay.
out,
Then they say,
they're not sending you the money back.
yeah, no. So I always tell people after, because it does take. I said, look, it could take 6 to 8 weeks. Don't expect
Right.
it any sooner than 6 weeks. If it
Yeah.
comes sooner, then
Great.
it's a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I wrote out checks prior to getting the results back, and I literally didn't even rip them out of the checkbook. I was just like, kept writing out the checks.
Yeah.
And I guess my results came back in like 3 batches. So I got a handful back, and then I'm like, okay, cool. Those went out. Get those out of the way.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because I don't want to fall behind because it's like, after the show, like it's not over. I still have a shit ton of stuff to do.
Oh yeah,
afterwards.
there's a lot of stuff to do to wrap up a show, especially one as big as yours. I mean, even one of my small shows, it's a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
You got to make sure everybody. You got to do the memberships. You got to do the payouts. You got to confirm the scores. You got to put the skits. But yeah, you can get caught like passing it by, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I still got like 3 people I got to pay because they didn't get their stuff back yet.
Yeah. And then I had a couple of checks that were returned. People didn't give me their right address, which is pretty interesting.
Well, that's what I always say. I've learned that too. I
don't get
say,
it.
hey, look, because I either will PayPal or I'll mail a check out. So I was like, where do you want it mailed to? And they give me an address. It's not the same one that's on their entry form. I'm like, why would you? Because I don't get it. Why you would not? I don't know. But
yeah, promoter problems.
Yeah.
If all the problems in the world were so simple, right?
Yeah, just give us your right address. That's all.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. Yeah, and like we have some international competitors too. So some of the addresses, it's not like 123 Happy Street. That's not the address.
Yeah.
So it's not as easy to get it there. Then going to FedEx or it's a fucking nightmare sometimes.
Yeah.
But we make it all happen. We make it all happen.
And we get it. Yeah, they want their money, but we got to make sure it's right. We got to make sure that it's going to the right place. And if it takes a couple extra days, a couple extra weeks, I mean, it's not like you're not going to. It's not like you're not going to get it. It's not like we're not visible and people see us everywhere. So it's not like I'm running away with your $1,000 or whatever.
Oh, it's definitely gonna change my whole life if I miss a payment and I run away with it. Which brings me to another point. As we're planning for this year, it's the 85th anniversary, and me and John, and we talk about like, okay, well, what are we going to do this year? What kind of big things are we doing? Do we announce things? Do we not announce things? Um, I remember somebody said to me that I made so much money because of all the TV things that I did, and I'm like, so much money on all the like.
Yeah,
If that was the
so much money.
case, yeah. It was what did she call it? All that TV money,
You're
TV
a,
money.
you're a TV star.
I'm fucking balling. I'm balling over here. You know, um, I wish that was the case.
Hey, we gotta
Just
hang out. We gotta hang out, me and you, Mark.
yeah, I'll tell you the secrets to making all that TV money. I'm wearing a Mr. America shirt that I stole out of the box that was for one of the ones that I was selling.
I
So it's
got.
not like
I have the same
I'm
one.
wearing designer clothes over here and a Mr. America hat, which by the way you could get at MrAmerica.com. Check out the store.
I
Figured I'd
like
throw
that
that
hat.
shameless plug out there.
I
Did
like
you?
that hat.
I haven't seen your name or address pop up on in the store for purchases. I'm just saying.
I do like. Well, I bought that same shirt that you have on last year.
What do you mean last year? They just
Uh,
came out this. Yeah,
no,
just this
let me
past
see.
year.
Yeah, I bought that one. I like that. I have
Okay.
it.
Do you wear
Right.
it? Where is it?
I do wear it. It's at home. I'll wear
Oh,
it. I'm gonna wear it tomorrow. I'm gonna do a video with it tomorrow.
okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I need a new ANBF shirt. I like the one you're wearing.
It is nice. It is nice.
Is that a 3/4?
It's
Like
a
a
three
baseball
quarter.
tee?
Yeah, it's a baseball one. Yes. Yeah.
I like that.
Well, this one and the other one are available on our website.
We have bikinis.
Well, it's
There's
not.
Mr. America bikinis for all the ladies out there. I
I
know
don't
a
know.
few of them were bought. I haven't seen anybody wearing them, and I know there was an entire summer that went by.
Yeah, I'll put one on for you. Want me to put one on for you, Mark?
No, no, actually, I do. You know what, Ken? Actually, I do.
You send me one. I'll put it on for you.
All right, I'll send you one. Do you know what size? I'll just pick out the size. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I know you have a couple. You have a show coming up in Blacksburg, right?
We have a show in Blacksburg in March 23rd. It's the home of Virginia Tech. We've had a show down there. We used to have
You're
it
there every year.
Yeah, we used to have it in Roanoke, and I felt like that I have learned one thing is that they used to have shows in Blacksburg. But
Right.
WNBF used to have shows there. Rodney Gaines used to promote it for them there. They have a big gym there where a lot of guys came out. Brian Whitaker out of there, his whole crew. John Booth was from there. He was in the last year at the Yorton,
Right.
and now he's living in Raleigh. But a lot of guys came out of the weight room, which is the big gym there. So we moved it from Roanoke because I felt like Blacksburg was a better town. But we all know that college students don't want to compete. I don't know. They're out drinking on Friday nights.
Right. Yeah. I think there's you have the ones that drink and then the ones that want to be social media influencers that are in the gym.
Yeah, they don't want to ruin their image, so they don't compete.
Right.
Because
Right.
everybody's a winner on Instagram.
They are and TikTok and everywhere else. That that's the next generation though of our sport. I I see the sport changing. Listen, Kent, years ago, you'd go, you say you win NPC nationals, right? And you IFBB pro card. You're going to be on the cover of, half a dozen magazines. You're going to have, supplement companies, throwing money at you. It's just not like that now, right? It's social media. There's a supplement company that is here in Jersey. They were spending a lot of money on an IFBB pro, and they just weren't getting the return on their investment. So they dropped them. So a lot of times, we see like, oh, so and so left this company. No, they were asked to leave because they're not doing their part.
Right.
And those paid sponsorships, like, hey, we're going to give you, 50 grand or 100 grand for the year, just doesn't exist anymore.
No.
And even on the other side of the sport, which is where social media comes in, right? You got to have that big social media following. You got to be putting out. I hate this word, Kent.
Content.
Hate it. Content.
I
You got to have content.
I said it the other day to somebody when when I said it, I'm like, oh man, I just hate that word. I hate it.
And a lot of the content is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like there's
it's all fluff.
And then some. There's somebody that I see quite often on social media. It's like the same fucking thing over and over and over and over and over. and there's no message though, right? So I think you got to have a message like, hey, look at me, send me a fucking check because this is what I do for a living. Like, if that's the message, cool, but put it out there.
Right.
You know, I don't care about all the other stuff. You know, follow macros. This is why this is great. Like, I don't care about that. Yeah, none of that. It doesn't affect me. I don't like it. I think it's stupid, but I guess we're a little bit old school. You know, I
Yeah.
want to see somebody, you know, come through the ranks and then, you know, earn it that way. But yeah, I mean, it's changing. Everything's social media. Everything's about putting out quality content. You know, and I'm sure you see it the same as I do. You see a lot of guys and girls, you know, they get ambassador codes. You know, buy my protein, use my code. You know, you'll save 10%.
Yeah.
And listen, I want to support all of them because I like what they're doing. But the truth of the matter is like it's not really helping them.
Right.
You know, I want to see people paid. That's what I want. I want to see big prize money. I want to see, you know, free show entry and suits and travel and airfare and hotels. That's what I want to see athletes getting. And that I think goes a lot further than making, you know, $13.91 in March because you sold, you know, 10 bottles of protein through your link.
You know, but then you get all these people with all these followers. I mean, they get paid for having all these followers too, though. But yeah, those people never compete because why? You know?
You don't need to.
Yeah.
You don't need to. So
Why
I don't know.
why jeopardize, you know, your social media status and get
Is it
your ass?
is it about the money? Is it about the followers? You know, I don't know. But no, you're right. You know, people they don't jeopardize, you know, what they do. And a lot of those followers are maybe not necessarily legitimate too.
Right. Well, yeah, they buy them. But you know, the thing is too is
If
that
you have 1.3 million followers and you get 260 likes on an
I know
image or a video,
the proportions don't match, it's a
right?
little fishy. But yeah, you're right because you could always tell the real accounts compared to non-real, but it doesn't matter. They still they they get paid.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's gonna come crashing down. Because I think companies are catching on to that.
Yeah.
I've had talks with companies about that, and they've, like I said, this one company they cut out somebody very 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 big, because his followers, you know what he had, so it's a he, what he had versus what he was getting in sales, like nobody gives a shit what protein he uses. He's
Yeah.
not selling it's not, you know, because we all know it's not the protein that made that man.
Well,
You know, you tell me what lab you got your trend from, you
yeah,
might be able to sell more trend.
yeah. Well, you know, a way of sometimes you know when you try to follow people so they follow you back. So, but you get to a certain amount where you have too many, you're following too many people. So I'll go through my list and I say, who can I cut? And then you end up like, no, like there's no like fake ones on there. You know the people, so it's like
Right.
that's how you can justify your social media numbers because you can't find somebody to drop because you know them all. It's not like
Right.
it's like Joe Schmo from Montana. I'll get rid of him. I don't, you know, but it's funny because I'm like, just because I want to add new people, but I can't because I'm at a limit where I have too many people that I follow. I'm like, oh.
Is there a limit though? I mean, you know, some
Yeah,
people are worried about
you're only allowed to follow 7,500 people
where is that?
on Instagram.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was even a thing.
So that's a way of being able, you know, how a way of getting more followers is to follow. Like if you make a post and somebody's on that likes your post, but yet you don't follow them, so you follow them. They like your post, and then they follow you back. But then you can only follow so many people.
Is that the type of account that you have?
No, it's a business account. My accounts are.
Huh. Oh, that's something I had no clue. No
So
clue.
that's yeah. So I feel good about my accounts when I go through it, and I have a hard time
Mhm.
dropping people just so I could add people because I'm at my limit. But
Well, I mean,
I don't have a lot of followers either. I mean, it's like I've been trying to get 10,000 followers forever.
how does Kent Bierly not have followers? They're out there. Everybody knows who you are, especially in natural bodybuilding. Between what you do in natural bodybuilding as an athlete, what you do in natural bodybuilding as the president of an organization, and what you do in your gym, I think 10,000 for you is like a drop in the bucket.
No, I only personally the
You have to
ANBF.
post nudes. Post nudes.
Yeah, I post some pictures of my ass. Maybe that'll, but my white hairy ass. Not
Yeah,
gonna
do
get,
it. Do
not
it.
gonna get anybody to like. But the my ANBF page is only like 8,400,
Right.
and then
Yeah,
my
but those are
personal
those are
page.
8,400 legitimate
Right,
followers
those are
on your
legitimate.
ANBF
And
page.
you
Where
could tell by people that the proportions are right. You get
right. I mean, there's other organizations that boast all these followers, but again, if you
nobody
look at
likes their
their
stuff. Yeah, I've
yeah, you
done.
look at their interaction, you're like, who the fuck followed you?
Yeah,
Why?
you
They
got
must have
30.
followed them off a fucking cliff.
You have 12,000 followers, but you have 13 likes on a post. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It doesn't work. So,
But you could be
uh,
in charge. You want to be in charge of my social media pages? You're in
yeah,
charge.
no,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
I could add that in.
you're in charge. Add it to your list of shit you got to do.
Yeah, I could add it in. I have all. Yeah, yeah, no problem. Yeah, fuck it. When do you want me to start?
When you get the Mr. American bikini, that's when you start.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
People will think I lost my mind.
You have. So
Yeah,
what's
I
after
have.
So what's after Blacksburg?
All right, so Blacksburg, and then we go. I wanted to do a show in AC, but we couldn't. Somebody was supposed to help
I
me make a
know. It's my
contact.
fault.
And so we're going to Mays Landing. Joe Lazara is helping me out on the local level down there. Him and Nugget have been
Okay.
pushing it around. We got some good interaction, but it's not. It's if I
Those first year shows are always tough.
yeah. Well, we had it there before, and we used to have decent shows down there. But now there's
Okay.
shows all over the place, so it kind of changed the climate.
What's the date of that?
That is April 20th. We have it at the community college down there. It's a nice venue, big stage, and it's convenient. It's only 15 minutes from AC, so it is close
Right.
to AC. And then we have our big show at the Nationals, May 11th here in Brick.
I absolutely love that your nationals is not in the fall. Not because of the Mr. America, because I mean, not everybody could just be in the fall. Like,
Right.
that's just
Well,
that's asinine to me.
we get a lot of this. We get a lot of people that come to that show because there are really not a lot of other pro shows around. I mean, you might have
Right.
a pro class here and a pro class there, but it's a full pro event, all classes,
All pro categories.
Yeah, all pro categories.
Open and masters.
No masters at this one. The masters is later on, is in the fall.
So it's all open categories.
All open categories, yeah.
Okay.
So we get, we're back at the high school, and it was nice that we were back there last year. The House of Independence was an amazing venue as far as the stage, but we didn't have room. So now we have all the room. We have we use the cafeteria in the back for the pump up area. I mean, it's no hallways.
Yeah, I was there this past fall.
We have a lot of room. The stage is big. The auditorium holds 600 people. And there's a lot of room for vendors. So we have a lot of room to we used to pack that place with vendors because we had the space. We couldn't do it at the House of Independence. We could only have 2 at a time. So
yeah, you only had a couple there, right?
Yeah. So we have a lot of opportunity there, and it's in my town where my gym is. So it's a lot easier to promote it.
Yeah.
They work with us. We donate $1,000 in scholarships to the school at the end of the year for their student athletes. So it's just a good relationship. It makes more sense, and it's cheaper. I mean, House of Independence was a real legit venue that cost me a fortune, but I had no choice because after COVID, nothing was available. So
right, and they were willing to take you in and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. Listen, that place is super cool, and now they got flooded out and destroyed in there, huh?
Yeah, the damage was too much. The owners are just selling it because that whole stage area was basically the basement. Because it's on a hill,
right?
Yeah, it's on a hill. So the top floor was fine, but the basement had 5-6 feet of water in it, and those tunnels in the bottom are connected to all the other businesses' basements, and so that whole
area was just wiped out.
That whole backside of
did that happen the weekend of the show? Because I remember there was
rained.
A ton of storms that weekend.
It rained. It started that Saturday, and it rained all week. And I even said the following week, I said, man, I'm so happy we didn't have our show this weekend. And then Monday, it showed all the flooding. The ocean came over into the lake. The lake flooded into the backside of all those businesses. So it went right down into the stage area. And yeah, they had 6 feet of water in that bottom part. So it just destroyed everything. And by the time you clean it out, the mold and
Oh,
everything else. It was nasty to begin with because it's a basement and there's kitchens and everything else down there. So
yeah. I remember walking through. I guess through the back, you can see all the different tunnels going all
yeah,
different
yeah.
places on there, which is pretty wild.
Well, it's an
Pretty
old
wild.
town, so there's tunnels all over underneath there.
Right. Huh. So then May 11th, you got the national. So you got 3 shows coming up relatively
Yeah,
quick.
I'm excited to get them moving, and then we have our show down in Lenoir in June 22nd. That's always a good show. We get a couple local
That's
places.
North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah, it's in the foothills, and
Right.
then we go to. Well, actually, we're going to be in Jersey City on July 13th.
Yep. I'm looking forward to that. I don't have to hit
Yeah,
Parkway South.
no, it's going to be nice, and the view from the school overlooks you see the city skyline, so it's pretty neat.
Awesome.
It's a guy that used to be a member of my gym. He's done a bunch of our shows. He owns Heights Fitness. I don't know if you've seen his stuff.
I'm not familiar. I guess in Jersey City Heights.
Jersey City and then Kearney or Kearney or
Kearney.
Kearney.
What gym does he have in Kearney?
Heights Fitness. They're both
Heights
called
Fitness
Heights
in
Fitness.
Kearney. Huh. I'm writing that down. That's only not far from here.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. He's got a lot of he does a lot of stuff with gyms. He buys and sells equipment, so he's got a lot of connections up that way. So
Nice.
this
So
should
you got a pretty full schedule this year again.
yeah. Well, we have 14 shows, I think. Because we added one in Atlanta. That's going to be actually Thanksgiving weekend. We have a promoter down there that's friends with Sid Gillen, Miss Olympia. So
Right.
their crew. We have a good crew down there. So I'm happy that we were able to get a show there because we have a lot of people that have done our shows before down there, and then we have a lot of the people that can judge and help out. So it's
Yeah.
I just
And
needed
I may
I
have
just
heard
needed somebody.
before.
I needed somebody down there to do it because I just could. That's just too far south, and I just didn't want to.
Right.
It's tough when you spread yourself out. You need to have those people that are local that can.
You're also
do
in
it.
Texas still, correct?
Yeah, we're probably not going back to Texas this year. We couldn't get a date. We had to use Sundays as it was, and I didn't like the Sunday. It
Oh,
just
no good.
was a weird thing,
Right.
and it's not. Yeah, it's we're hoping we could still do something, but probably not in the same place we were. I was more looking for Houston or Dallas, but we
Right.
probably will take the year off from Dallas unless I can get somebody. I mean, from Texas, unless I can get somebody to take it over down there.
Yeah. So before you came on, I may have talked to somebody who sounds like they might also be doing promoting some ANBF shows. So I was happy to hear that. I don't know if it's totally confirmed on your end, but I heard there might be a couple of more somewhere south. So that's pretty cool.
Who are you talking? Is it somebody we were talking about the other day?
It is. It is.
Yeah, I reached out to him. I reached out to him yesterday, and
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, he's gonna come help us. He's gonna come judge for us, and he's closer to Moorhead, so he's gonna come out to Moorhead City, which is if anybody wants to do a show and be in a great area, and it's a decent show. It's not big, not small. Right on the Pamlico Sound at the beach in North Carolina. He lives close to there, so he's going to come and be involved in that, and then we'll talk further. Yeah, I'm excited that. Yeah, I reached out to him as soon as I was done talking to you yesterday.
Yeah, and I think like I said to you the other day, I think that's really that's a game changer having quality promoters and boots on the ground in some of these places.
Well,
what you guys do is like if you haven't been out to an ANBF show, you definitely have to get out and check it out. They're a lot of fun. It's not like. I couldn't even really put it into words other than your shows are a lot of fun to be at and a lot of fun to do.
Well, I appreciate that, but I really feel, and I've told this to other people before. I don't do it to be. I don't want to be powerful. I don't want to be the man. I don't even care if I make money doing it. I just don't want to lose money. But I want people. I want people to experience what I've experienced my whole life, doing shows, enjoying shows, being able to pick and choose what shows I did back in the day because there wasn't all the politics of, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. I did NPC shows. I did AAU shows. I did NGA shows. I did WNBF shows. I did IFPA shows. There was no baloney and crap.
I think I've seen less of that though this past year.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
but when you have people, I had to go through a lot last year to do what I did, and I did it so other people could do it and see that it can be done. They
Right.
told me, I reached out to my good friend Sean Sullivan. I said, Sean, I want to do the Yorton this year. What do I have to do? Well, if it was up to me, I would let you reinstate, but it's not up to me. He says, he always would say, he's one vote. He says, so you're going to have to get your pro card. I said, okay, where do I go do it? What do I got to do? So I'm thinking that I'm showing other people that they can do it. Now, if anybody's going to get screwed by another organization, it would be me.
Right. Absolutely.
So I did it, but I also made sure that I wasn't going to lose. There'd be no way that they could have me lose, and
right,
because I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be called out for second place because it would have been. So I did that because I wanted people. So there is still stupid rules around. Like there's no exceptions, but yet there are exceptions.
There's exceptions.
Right. There are exceptions. So I wasn't given that, which is fine. You want me to win? I'll win. I'm going to the Yorton Cup. So then
you make it sound so easy. Like I'm just going to show up and I'm just going to win.
Well, because you know me, Mark. That's the way it is. If you one person you don't bet against is the king. Can't bet against the king, Mark.
All right.
So then well, it kind of fell in my lap. I was going to go out to Peoria and do the USBF Masters Challenge, but then my wife was asked to tan with Heidi at a WNBF, the Monster Mash. So then I'm like, right. Well, you're not going to go there and me go here. I said, I'm going to do Dwayne's show again, and I'm going to win my pro card. I'm not going to let happen what happened to me last year.
Right.
That was
and that's where you won it. You went back to Dwayne's show, right?
Right. So I went to Dwayne's show, and I needed to win that so I could go do the pro show, the Monster Mash. And so I made sure I wasn't going to lose. There were some good guys, and I was like, damn, I don't know. These guys are pretty good. But I won that, and then I was able to do Monster Mash. And then I went up against the eventual WNBF World Pro winner. He won, and then some other monster that won the pro show the year before, or won his pro card the year before. He was second. And here I was, third, 60 years old. I'm like, all right. So then I promised Sully when I talked to him at the Yorton Cup, I says, Sully, thanks for, appreciate the advice. He says, I moved my show to Sunday. And I'm like, he says, well, I really want you at my show. And I said, well, I got my show the same day. No, but I moved it to Sunday. I'm like, what? I said, so you want me to freaking do my show on Saturday and then drive up to Rhode Island? So I did. And I said, well, Sully, I'm not coming up there unless I win. So I won that too. So it was kind of, so I don't know, whatever I'm even telling about all this stuff is that I want people to, so an ANBF show to me is how bodybuilding should be. Right. You want to meet people. You want to be judged fairly. You want to have a good time. You want to be taken care of. You want to have food. You want to have water. You want to have decent awards. You want to be able to talk to the judges when you're done. Do you want to go out and eat afterwards? We'll all go out and eat if you want. It's just, I want people to enjoy themselves, and I want people to remember that an ANBF show is where they went and they had a great time. They weren't on. Yeah. They weren't rushed on stage. They weren't rushed off stage. They weren't told to go home. There's no room for you here. Yeah. And stuff like that.
And that's one of the things. Like, listen, we talked, very early on. I think you may have been my first phone call when, I took over the Mr. America, and, I saw what a lot of different, organizations and promoters were doing. I was promoting for, I don't even know how many years prior to that. And, the one thing that I'm real big on is the whole experience, right? The experience for the athlete has to be right. Win or lose, like there is more to it than that. Everything from, check-in to pumping up to, hanging out with other athletes and judges and fans, and like it's a whole experience, that I'm pushing. And, you as well. I get that. I feel that same experience with you is like, yeah, it's a good time to go do, and it does baffle me that you don't have 150 people in every single show, because I think the people that come there, I know the athletes that I've put in your shows, that's all they want to go do now. I want to go do another ANBF show. Like, you're doing all the right things, and I want to see it grow. So that's why I was happy to hear about our friend down in North Carolina is interested in doing shows. But yeah, I mean the experience is great. I've had a couple athletes do shows in organizations that I wasn't totally affiliated with in any way, and I went, because my athletes are there, and the shows went fine. They placed well. People were nice to me, and they said hello and shook hands and all that stuff. But when I left, I'm like, huh, that kind of sucked. Like I know a lot of people are doing the straight through formats, and I know a lot of people like that, but it seems so rushed that how do you have a great experience doing that? But then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you don't want to be there for 12 hours either.
Yeah, but Mark, you remember back in the day, you didn't mind spending all day at a bodybuilding show.
No, you'd go there, you'd have prejudging, you could go out to eat and have your burgers and fries and soda and, go back and put your feet. It was a good time.
I mean, you're there with all your buddies. Everybody's rooting you on. Your family's there. Yeah, is it boring in the middle? Yep. But you know what? It's just...
I think that's where a lot of those lifelong friendships have been forged, was in that downtime.
Well, and we could always go back to the social media. Now it's done quick, make a post. I got all these followers. Yeah, it's not like, nobody wants to sit around. I mean, I miss those days, the old school days, and it's no wonder that it's the people like me, you, the other person we're talking about. We're old school. It's like, right. What was wrong with that? Like, I mean, I'm not saying you need to sit around for 5-6 hours, but like, we do our straight through format. We do the routines all together. You've been in our shows. We judge, we do our routines, and then we do the scoring. We'll give usually like an hour in between the results from the time we're done till we do the awards. But still, we don't rush people. I mean, I have a show with 25, 30 people, and it'll still be 5-6 hours because people are buying. People want to be entertained. You can get an idea of, because I head judge every show and I MC from the judges table. I get a feeling of the people that are sitting behind me. I know if they're entertained. I know if they're bored. I know if I have to make a dumb joke. I know if I have to go on stage and hold somebody's hand up because he's 95 years old and he's competing.
Right.
So I feel the pulse of the crowd. But now it's like, it's big business for some of these people, and they lose the intimacy of the sport. They lose the stories. They lose the behind the scenes stuff. They lose the fact that there's a family of 8 sitting in the back row, and the guy's got six kids. And I'm like, I turn around, I tell him to stand up. I said, "You want to go get a picture with your dad on stage?" These are things that I'm allowed to do because it's a smaller show. But that's what people leave remembering. They leave for the. I mean, I can go stories. So many stories of when I'm 19, when I'm 21, when I was 30, when I did the NGA show at in Manhattan with Andy Bastinto and Charlie, whatever. What was Charlie's last name? The WNBF guy, Corello or Steve Downs was there. You got all these. So it's like I can remember things from freaking 40 years ago. Yeah. People now, they don't remember. It's like on stage, off stage. On stage, off stage.
All right, Kent, it was great having you on. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to part 1 of 2 of this episode of Jim Eat Repeat. Make sure you tune back in next week for part 2 and beyond.